Hello guys, how are you today? I hope everyone is doing great. Welcome back for one more lesson at SEDA College Online. I'm really glad to be here with you for one more lesson. And we will learn a lot of things together. We'll see reading, vocabulary, grammar, and I want to make sure that you make the best of it. So try to interact a lot with your classmates and me in the comments. Ask me any questions you have, okay? And try to participate as much as possible. Alright, so I have a really nice topic for you today. And my first question is, how nostalgic do you feel today? You can answer the question in the comments. Personally, I feel quite nostalgic today. I've been thinking about the past a lot. Many nice and endearing moments with loved people, in familiar places, etc. So tell me, how do you feel? And I will tell you specifically about technology. So I want you to think about your life before specific technological developments and tell me, how nostalgic do you feel about these moments? For example, is there something that you don't do anymore because of technology? Tell me in the comments. I will be waiting for you to write your answers. And while I'm doing that, I will tell you my own answer to this question. So my story, well, it's not about TV, but it's about the TV guide, the TV program. I specifically remember that when I was a child, my parents used to buy the newspaper with the magazine and the TV program. And I remember very, very vividly, that I used to fight with my sister about who will get the magazine first. I would use a highlighter to highlight all my favorite programs, what time it was, so that I would be ready and I would know what I want to see for the week, which was really funny actually. Of course, at some point this stopped happening, not only because I grew up, but because I had my phone at hand, so I could search anything I wanted on my phone or on my computer on the internet. And of course, now many people don't even own a TV, so they don't need a TV guide. Everyone and everything is about Netflix right now. So this was my story, and I'm still waiting for your answers. You can tell me, what is it that you used to do that you don't do anymore because of certain technological developments. And here I have a few pictures that may make you feel a little bit nostalgic. I don't know if you remember them. If you are around your 20s, maybe mid-20s, late 20s, I'm sure you remember these. Now, if we have any younger people here, you might not be familiar with many of them. I don't know if you remember the tape, for example, or the atlas, the map that we used to have in every house when we were younger. And we're going to take a look to an article from USA Today. You will see the link in all the following slides if you want to read the full article. Things we don't do anymore because of technology. So I have just chosen a few of them, and let's do an introduction to what we're going to read. Now see if this sounds familiar. You're not sure where your US road atlas is or if you even own one. It's been so long since you licked a stamp, you've forgotten what it tastes like. You've seen more scrumptious 2-minute videos in the past week than you've consulted a cookbook in the past year. So, does any of these ring a bell? For me, definitely yes. I know that I don't own a map or an atlas. I don't remember when it was the last time I sent a letter, so I had like a stamp. And yeah, I spent a lot of time watching 2-minute videos with delicious recipes. And that's the meaning of scrumptious here. It means delicious, mouth-watering. I have a list of words here for you as well. Okay. We all know technology is making things easier and less time-consuming. But it's hard to believe how much our devices have transformed the way we live. Tasks and tools that once seemed routine now seem hopelessly out of date, and in only a few short years. Here are some of those rituals that are no longer necessary in high-tech households. Teenagers may shrug, but if you're 20 years or older, you'll probably smile with nostalgia. So you can see my vocabulary as well. Time consuming, that takes a lot of time to complete. Remember the verb consume. Rituals, it's a ceremonious process, like a routine, okay, that includes specific actions. And what is shrug? Shrug is doing this. You raise your shoulders either because you don't know, I don't know, or because you don't care. I don't care. So let's see these rituals. The first one is to memorize a phone number. I really can't remember when it was the last time I memorized a phone number. So, pop quiz. How many phone numbers do you know by heart? You can answer this question if you want now. You can answer it in the comments. I think I remember 2 or 3 numbers right now. Nothing more than that. Some people don't even know their spouse's numbers. Spouse is a husband or a wife. It's a gender-neutral word, so you can use it for both. Before our smartphones automatically stored our friends' contact information, we resorted to cocktail napkins to scroll down numbers for fear we wouldn't find that listing in the phone book. How times have changed. So I don't know if you remember that or if you've done that. People used to write their phone numbers on napkins. Okay. Scroll here, as you can see, means to write something down very fast, very carelessly. Do you remember writing your phone number and then looking at it again, you couldn't even read the number? That's scrolling. Okay. And resort here, you can see the verb, it is to turn to something as a solution. So yeah, this is a nostalgic situation. And the second ritual is to use a phone book to find a phone number, a company to do work around your house, a plumber maybe, a technician, etc. Once upon a time, we felt perfectly comfortable flipping through the yellow pages and randomly calling a plumbing company to fix our pipes. Maybe we'd consult friends for a recommendation, but we often relied on trial and error. But consumer services like Angie's List and Yelp have changed this game entirely. You can quickly read reviews of a local business, and if you like what you read, you can tap their number and automatically dial. So yeah, I don't know if you remember yourself holding this huge yellow pages book and flipping through to find something. I remember doing that many years ago. And you can see the vocabulary here. Flip through is to look quickly through the pages. Trial and error is a method where you experiment by trying many different things and finding the most successful. The third ritual is figure out math in your head. Wow. Oh, I still do it sometimes actually. But the truth is it's much easier to use your phone's calculator. So calculators have been around for a long time now. but few of us ever carried calculators with us to the grocery store. In contrast, pretty much everyone with a smartphone has it available to do double-digit multiplication no matter where or when we need it. In fact, there is even an app called Photomath that can solve any equation just by taking a picture with your smartphone's camera. Now, personally, I was never really good at math. I kind of liked it though. Um, so yeah, I like doing math in my head sometimes, but it's much easier with a calculator. And if you don't know what an equation is, it looks like that. Okay, a mathematical equation. The fourth one, telling time by hands on a clock. Now, many people from the newer generations may not be able to actually tell time on an analog clock. Okay, everyone is so much used to digital clocks that they can't tell time. So, like cursive writing, analog clocks are teetering on extinction. Few people with smartphones bother with watches anymore, unless they're fashion statements or fitness trackers. With digital clocks dominating our computers and hardware, those 12 numeral timepieces may become pure novelties. Even your trusted alarm clock has received tech makeover. 3 apps that monitor your sleep cycle and wake you up when you feel the most rested. So, just a few notes here. What is cursive writing? Writing where the letters are linked. It looks like that. Do you see how the letters here are linked? All the letters. So the word is one. This is cursive writing. And teeter means that you are going back and forth. It's an in-between state. So analog clocks are on the edge of extinction. And what does the word novelties mean? Now here it has the meaning of being ornamental. It's used just for decoration. So you might have seen analog clocks that are there just for decoration, like vintage. And number 5, make photo albums. To tell you the truth, I still make photo albums, but maybe I print photos like every 5 years or so, but I do have photo albums. And now purists still love their dark rooms because chemicals and photo paper can be so rewarding for the patient photographer. But few people pine for the days of dropping off rolls of film at a 1-hour Photoshop. Do you remember taking the film out of your photograph and then taking it out of your camera, sorry, and then taking it to take the photographs? I really miss that. And you can see that the word pine that we see here is used as a verb and it means to miss. Now, instead of pasting 5x7 snapshots into your faux leather album, most people will prefer the ease of photo sharing services like Flickr and Amazon Cloud. Yeah, the truth is it's very, very good, but I still like making photo albums. I think it's something tangible, something that you can hold in your hands that makes it more valuable. And of course, CDs or record collections. Wasn't it cool back in the day to walk into a shabby apartment and see those shelves of CDs? Wasn't it a joy to flip through boxes of vinyl records? Well, the MP3 generation has transferred all those songs through digital index. Turntables have seen a resurgence in popularity, but it's hard to imagine CDs making a comeback. So, of course, actually, I know a lot of people who still collect records. So, yes, as it says here, turntables. If you don't know what a turntable is, that's it here. So, Yeah, I know a lot of people who collect vinyl records, but yeah, I agree that probably CDs will not make a comeback. Tell me, do you have a collection? Do you still have maybe a collection from when you were younger? And what does shabby mean? Shabby means in a poor condition, a bit messy. Okay? And resurgence is a revival, becoming popular again. So it's true that turntables have a resurgence. I've seen people buying turntables lately, and they are being sold as retro items. Okay, and of course, one of my favorites, using a phone booth. Now, I haven't used a phone booth. I don't know. I don't remember how old I was when I last used a phone booth. Of course, this image is very, very popular in London phone booth, but I really don't know anyone who uses them. Phone booths are so rare nowadays that you'd probably have an easier time just buying and activating a cheap cell phone. The last holdout may be your local airport, but even international travelers can usually nab a SIM card the moment they step off the plane. So yeah, the truth is that I don't see a lot of phone booths anymore, just scattered here and there in the city, but it is a nostalgic thing to just see in the street. So that was it. That was our reading. I want you to tell me which of these do you think was the most nostalgic for you? Memorizing phone numbers, using phone booths, using the phone book. Alright? I hope I didn't make you too nostalgic. And I want you to tell me a few things now about yourself using this specific form, okay? The form used to plus infinitive to talk to me about a habit in the past, okay? For example, I used to memorize phone numbers, but I don't do it anymore. I used to do math calculation in my head, but not anymore. Or a negative one, I didn't used to have a digital camera, but I do now. And remember how in the negative the verb returns to the infinitive, didn't used to. So go to the comments and live chat and write. Tell me, what did you used to do when you were younger, before the internet changed our lives? And all your sentences need to have the verb used to in them. Let's go. I'll be waiting to see a few of your answers. And you can use, of course, as in my examples, you can use positive sentences and negative sentences, used to, didn't used to, etc. And just remember that you always need the infinitive here. I used to memorize, I used to do, I didn't used to have. Okay? So, you can continue writing your answers, and I will give you some more information. There are two more forms with the verb used, but there is some confusion here because people might think it's the same as used to. The truth is it's quite different. So, used to plus infinitive is used to talk only about the past, and as we've said, it's about a habit in the past. Okay, I used to memorize phone numbers. Now, there are two more forms that have an extra verb. It's be used to, I am used to, he is used to, and get used to. So if you see only used to, that's infinitive, it's a habit. But if you also see the verb to be in front of it or the verb get in front of it, the meaning changes. And the form changes as well. Look at that. Be used to and get used to are always followed by a gerund, ing, or a noun. And we don't use them only to talk about the past. We can use them to talk about the past, present, or future. So be used to could be I am used to for the present, or I was used to for the past, or I will be used to for the future. The same with get, it could be got used to, will get used to. Okay, let me show you a few examples so that you can see the difference. Here we have used to plus infinitive and be used to plus gerund. So I used to memorize phone numbers, but now I am so used to having everything on my phone that I don't even know my own number. And you can see the difference in the meanings for the two verbs. The first one is about the past. I had the habit of memorizing numbers, but not anymore. And now I am used to having everything on my phone. So this talks about the present. It's a habit that I currently have. Okay? And let's see one more example, a contrast between used to and get used to this time. So, I didn't used to walk a lot in the past, but when I came here, I got used to it because I didn't have my car. So what's the difference here? The first one again is talking about a habit in the past. I didn't have the habit of walking, but got used to talks about a process. It's an effort to make something a habit, to make something part of your life. So every time you use get used to, you're showing that you really tried or that you're really trying to make this a habit. Okay? So, so far, tell me if you have any questions about the difference between used to, be used to, and get used to. Okay? Remember, the first one is habit in the past. The second one is a habit that I have now. And the third one is something that I try to make a habit. It's a process. I want you to try and do some practice on your own. So write in the comments or the live chat 3 sentences. One sentence with used to plus infinitive to talk about an old habit. One sentence with be used to plus gerund to talk about a current habit. And one sentence with get used to plus gerund to talk about the process of making something a habit. Okay, so I'll give you a minute You don't have to overthink about it. I just want you to write 3 short and simple sentences just to make sure that you get it. And if you still have any questions or if something is not clear, you can ask me in the comments and the live chat, okay? So I'm waiting for you. And the truth is that all these 3 different forms are very, very common. I think that we use them a lot, all 3. The problem is that because of these small differences in the form and the meaning, sometimes, especially in the beginning, it might be a little bit more challenging to use them appropriately. But it just takes some practice, okay? So, I'm still waiting for you to write down your sentences. If you want, I can also go back to my examples to help you a little bit, okay? You can use them as models if you're not sure how to form your sentences. And of course, if you want, you can write something like I have done, where you combine 2 forms together in the same sentence. But if you want something simpler, you can just write 3 separate sentences. Okay, so I have something more for you, some extra practice. You can still keep writing sentences if you want. Now, I have 7 sentences here, and I want you to complete them with the correct form of used to, be used to, or get used to. The verb is already in the sentence, so this can help you. In number 3, for example, you can see that after the gap, I have the verb sleeping, which is a gerund. Now this helps you eliminate the first option. You know that it's either be used to or get used to. Okay, so you can use the form to help you complete it. It can be a bit helpful, but the most important thing is to focus on the meaning. Is it a past habit, a current habit, or something I'm trying or I'll try to make a habit? We'll do an example together as well, and then you can continue with the rest of it and write your answers in the comments. Now let's see the first one. I really don't like rain, but living here, I need to. So are we talking about the past? No. So we're talking about the present. This is a clue that we cannot definitely use used to. So we are between be used to and get used to. Second question, in order to find the answer here. Are we talking about a current habit or something that I'm trying to make a habit? Well, if I don't like rain, this means that it's not a habit to live somewhere where it rains a lot. This means that I want to try and make it a habit. So we go to our last option. I need to get used to it. Okay, I need to learn to live with it. So, following this logic, this process, you can go on and try to think about the answers in the next 6 sentences. I will just read the sentences for you while you're working, okay? And remember that you don't need the verb. the infinitive or the gerund. It is already there for you. So let's read. When I was a child, my parents take me on holidays every summer. I can't stand this noise. I sleeping in quiet. This is a question, number 4. You wake up early when you were at university? I thought it would be hard to driving on the other side of the road, but it was okay. It's still difficult for me to exercise daily, but I'm sure I can't live without coffee. I drinking 3 cups a day. So remember, basic questions that will help you find the answers are we talking about the past? If not, you are sure that used to is not a correct answer. And then focus on the meaning, old habit, current habit, something that I'm trying to make a habit. I'll give you some more time to try and complete them and continue writing your answers on the comment section and the live chat. I want to see what you think. It's very good for you to try and actually work on it before I give you the answers. Okay, try to push your brain to think and work on it. Okay, so let's take a look together. When I was a child, my parents take me on holidays every summer. Now, we definitely talk about the past here. We start the sentence with when I was a child. So, it's a habit about the past. Simple, used to. I can't stand this noise. I sleeping in quiet. So imagine you usually sleep somewhere where it's very, very quiet. And one day you find yourself in a place with a lot of noise. I can't sleep because I currently have the habit of sleeping in a quiet place. So we need I am used to. The habit that I have now. Number 4, we are talking about the past when I was at university. So, did you used to wake up early when you were at university? And number 5, I thought it would be hard to driving on the other side of the road. Now here we are talking about learning something new. You're coming here from another country. You see that people are driving on the other side of the road, so you need to learn how to do it. So here you have a process of making it a habit. That's why we need get used to. It's still difficult for me to exercise daily, but I'm sure it. So, are we talking about the past? No. Is it a habit that I have now? I try to do it, but it's not still something inherent. It's not something that I do effortlessly. Something that I'm trying to do. And I'm sure that in the future, I will get used to it. I will make it part of my routine. And I can't live without coffee. You're talking about your present, you're talking about a strong habit that you currently have. I am used to drinking 3 cups a day. So, tell me guys, if you have any questions, tell me if you want me to explain something about the exercise again. You can ask me in the comments. You can also tell me if there is still something that confuses you about the 3 forms. Okay. So, this this was our lesson for today. And what did we do? We read about things we used to do in the past. We focused on grammar about used to, be used to, and get used to. And we wrote sentences using the specific forms. So, I hope you really enjoyed the class today. And I hope you learned a few new things or you remembered some things you had already learned in the past. Tell me what you liked and why you liked it. I'm really glad to have been here with you for one more class. And that was it. I'll see you next class, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Bye bye.